Welcome. So this is beautiful day. It's raining and we are blessed. I wanted to talk to you about SNAP and what's happening in America with food banks that are not going to be able to process as many people as they need to process, and the political parties blaming each other for this moment. But on a universal story, because we always need to go back to what is the universal story? What is the universe trying to tell us? And I did a live a couple days ago that I think might help you in terms of some of your false allegiance to certain things, so you can kind of unplug, okay? So this incredible African-American woman, powerful woman, it reminds me of Octavia Butler for some reason, and I reposted her video. When I upload this on YouTube, I'll make sure to put her name so you guys can follow her. But she said, close your wallet. Close your wallet. It doesn't matter if you're not on food stamps. This is when brothers and sisters of America need to stand together. That means there's no Thanksgiving. Fuck the turkey. Fuck the Christmas tree. Fuck the toys. This is when we show and we share character with our children. Now, if you have little ones, one toy. That's it. Not to punish them. And I don't know how you were raised, but I know that when I was a little girl, Christmas in France, Christmas in Switzerland, there was only one toy, and I was so fucking happy. I was like over the moon, right? And this concept of having like 30 fucking toys under a tree is kind of like sick, okay? I don't think it's good for children to have that many, but that's on a side note. And I don't know why I went off the rails, but I wanted to kind of give you a sense of propriety, that what is normalized, what is normal. And if you're going to buy toys, I'm going to finish with this. Go buy something handmade on Etsy, okay? For your child. A dollhouse. Something that they can actually understand it was handmade by someone, okay? All right. But Ubuntu, which is an African philosophy that if one person suffers, we all suffer in the community. We are being pushed to community. And community means that if people are being shut out of food, which is a human right, this is not a discussion. Food is not a volley, it's not a debate. If you notice, I don't have people on a panel to debate. I have guests and we talk and we go back and forth. But one day I might have a panel on something that validly should be debated. But food, water, shelter is not debatable. It's a human right. That's it. So we have single mothers who depend on food, stamps, SNAP, whatever you want to call it, okay? And you have elderly, definitely the elderly, who rely on that. And that means that bills will not be paid if food has to be bought. Does that make sense? And as it is, these families also add to their larder with going to food banks. And food banks are fucking drying up. Meanwhile, TSA employees are getting baskets of food brought to their workplace to ensure that they're at least feeding their family. And we're being pushed as a community. We're being pushed to create communities. We're being pushed to know your neighbor. We're being pushed to do what we used to do in the 1920s and beyond, of course, but in the 1920s as the Depression hit. People were helping each other if they could. And people would make an extra loaf of bread. And people would trade eggs for a blanket or a pair of socks. Things like that. You know what I'm saying? And this is when you show your family what it is to bond. This holiday season is going to be about the true spirit of holidays. Remember, for those of you who are Christian, Yeshua was broke when he was born. His family was broke. They were given a little barn. Remember? They were turned away. So this is interesting how real Christianity, real mercy from all three Abrahamic religions, Jewish, Muslim, and Christian, need to show their mettle. This is the time. If you have money, a lot of it's time for you to buy groceries and to deliver them to people who really need them. But ultimately, us shopping and consuming for the holidays, like Black Friday and things of that nature, it's a no. It's a fucking no. Because they're all connected. They're all connected, and they need to see. And we have seen in the last 2 years how not shopping, I don't want to use the word BOYCOTT, it works. I've been doing it since I was 14 years old. It works. And you would think that people who are multi-billionaires wouldn't care, but they actually do. It's the strangest thing. The level of greed is so unhinged that even you can't fathom. You can't fathom it at all, because you'd be happy with $100,000 in your savings account. That would make you over the moon, and you would find a way to go donate some supplies. So this is the time. This is the time for us to create Ubuntu. If you're hurting, I'm not right with it, and I will do whatever I can to help you. And until everyone has the abundance of love, health, and wealth, health being a human right. Why is that a human right? Well, because no one has health care. There are a lot of people that don't have health care. And when they do have health care and they're buying it, they lose their entire life. Their credit tanks, because we have a system called, I'm going to call it socialized credit. You might call it FICO. And it's a system of oppression. It's a subtle, very heavy link chain around your neck. Let's be honest. And so the I don't give a fuck, or I don't give two fucks, or however you want to put the fucks together, is going to be very empowering for you. Especially when you know that you're not alone. Especially when you know that you're probably a leader in building the communities. Because a lot of people don't know how to lead. How do you lead? From the heart. How do you become a leader? Well, most great leaders, even through military, by the way, like William Wallace and Hannibal Barca and these men, that led men into battles, led because no one else would. They didn't really want to lead. That's why I didn't bring up Alexander the Great. He wanted to lead. Most of these men, I noticed, they didn't want to really lead. They were forced by pacts and promises and bonds and duty. And so that's what you have to be. You have to stand up, step in, and lean in. And who's your neighbor? Who's your elderly? Who's that young mother that's single, where she doesn't have formula? You know, right? And I've been seeing this since 2020. You know that they have formula locked up. Did you know that? It's jacked up. For you guys in Europe, if you listen to this, our baby formula is locked up. Yeah, baby formula. Okay? So not only do we set up the trauma of a woman, I feel like crying, working 2 to 3 jobs to make ends meet so she can pay daycare, where she dries up so she can't give the best milk on the planet from her body. We make her literally rely on formula, which she can't afford. And this is done without shame. Formula should be given away. And I don't give a fuck if you don't agree. Well, capitalism, well, there you go. There you go. It should be given away. It should be grass-fed. It should be organic. It should be the best fucking... Do you want to feed your people or don't you? We have the lowest birth rate in history. Well, because any fucking person with a brain would say, I can't get pregnant. I can't even fucking feed myself. Why do you think Roe versus Wade was overturned? which I didn't understand. They could have codified it. Apparently the Democrats didn't codify a lot of shit. I don't really understand all the ins and outs. I'm not a politician, but I do know the end result of bullshit. And many of us rely on politicians who supposedly are educated, but later on we find out they never even read the big beautiful fuck note that was given out this year, nor to mention the Patriot Act. Okay? Most of these people never read it, but voted for it. So I would think professional politicians would know the ins and outs of making sure that your working class family or single parenting is more likely, would have some certain things in place to protect them from starvation. But let's keep sending those $30 billion out to, that little country that has harmed more people than we can fucking fathom. The shadow banning for many people like me that talk like this is unhinged. I'm losing followers, and I have people telling me I didn't unfollow you, but they removed me from your list. People talking like me are losing followers. We're little content creators being watched because we are speaking about what is normal human rights. Because we're not trying to fan the flames of hunger and anger and rage and impotent rage by having a panel of people talking for fucking... I had a guy tell me, oh yeah, I do it every 6 days a week, 15 hours per day. Oh, okay, so you're making a living off that. Getting people pissed off. I'm pissed off because I don't know how long I can keep doing this. And I'm pissed off because I don't understand why this is not normalized, where we are as a people do not demand basic fundamental rights in supposedly the richest country in the world. And yet I can go to France right now, get in a car accident and break my arm, and there will be a doctor, a specialist, to put me in a cast. Try that today with no insurance. Try breaking your arm today in a basic ER with no insurance, and you will be fucked. You will have a broken arm. You will walk out of the ER with a bill and still a broken arm, not in a cast. You don't believe me? Call. The timeline that looks egregious, that looks poisoned, is actually what has always been. And we are being corralled by the universe to the new earth. It's ugly. It feels ratchet. It feels like hopeless. And yet we are being corralled to the new earth. And the first step is help your neighbor. The first step is build your community. Do you understand? We've been talking about this for years, since 2020. We've been talking and talking and talking. Community, buy land. Some people have done it. And because we kept talking and not doing, the universe rolled up its sleeves and said, we're going to have to give them tower moments. They're not fucking getting it. And I'm at fault as well. I mean, to be fair, I bought the land. But I was unable to organize because of the death. When somebody dies, you can't think except about the person dying. That's not an excuse, that's reality. But had I had community, it would have been much easier. And I feel like this moment in time, this supposed holiday that we Americans love so much, the Christmas tree, the lights, the turkeys, the hams, all the gifts under the tree. There's a very rich man that I'm trying to remember his name. It's a weird name. He has a castle in Scotland. And he's old. He's got white hair and he's a fucking piece of shit. He's a motherfucker. And he trains rich men to get richer. Men, by the way. Rich men. Rolling on their cigars, not even knowing the history of cigars. and finding themselves to be so posh. And he was under a Christmas tree. I'll never forget that. This was, I think, during the lockdown. And there were like hundreds of gifts. Massive tree, probably 20-foot tree. I don't know, but you can look it up. I'm trying to remember his fucking name. And he said, see, you poor fucks. That's what a Christmas should look like, you poor fucks. And they all laughed at poverty. They laughed at poverty. This was a Christmas carol in the 21st century. We saw Ebenezer Scrooge in the archetype of this piece of shit. As if gifts under a tree makes you successful. Greed isn't good. Greed is evil. Money is not the root of all evil. People are. Money is neutral. A knife is neutral. It can cut a slice of bread or take someone's life. Never forget that. Money will give and give and give. You've got trillionaires right now that could stop this whole fucking shit show with a check. And they won't. So, we are being pushed by the universe. You've wanted the new earth. You've wanted 5D. Well, it comes with a price. And this corridor is dark. But it is always darkest before the dawn. And that means you do not cater to buying. You have a meeting with your kids, 5-year-old, 6 years old. I remember my mom we were broke. We lived in Rome. We were broke. Broke as broke. And we ate ravioli. By the way, ravioli in Italy is pretty fucking good in a can. It's not Chef Boyardee. Trust me, it's fucking good food. But we must have been eating ravioli for weeks. And I'm 3 years old. I know we're broke. Oh, you should never tell a kid you're broke. Yeah, you should. And she said, we have money. We're going to buy steaks. And I looked up at her and said, well, I don't mind ravioli. I'm okay with ravioli. Ravioli's good. She goes, no, sweetie. We're going to buy filet mignon. We're going to have fun tonight. And she was so happy. I don't remember the filet mignon. I remember the ravioli. And I was part of the team. I was part of being a little adult with my family. Treat your kids like who they are, ancient souls in young bodies. This is the day where you have a family meeting and say, we're not buying a Christmas tree. We'll put all the decorations throughout the house. We're not having a turkey. We're having a potluck. Grandma's coming. She's going to make her famous blah, blah, blah. And we're going to have this and that. And we're going to do this, that, and the other. And we're going to have fun. We're going to play board games. We're going to play fun board games. No TV. Beautiful Christmas music. Or whatever music you love. And we're going to dance. And we're going to play Twister. And we're going to giggle and laugh. And then you'll explain to them why. And you're going to give. This will be the year where we start giving and building our communities. This is where the middle finger goes straight up to the you know what. Where we say, you need us. We don't fucking need one fucking thing you got. We don't need you. We don't need your fucking plastic products. We don't need a fucking thing. What we need is community, and you can't give that to us. Only we can give it to ourselves. That's it. You're either serious, my friends, on having a community, or you're not. Oh, some comments have been, some comments were filtered. Okay, well, exactly. Let's communal. What did you write, my love? Encourage more viewers to share. Oh, sorry. So that's where we're at. You've been begging and begging and begging. Those of you who follow me, you've been begging. You've been wanting this. And the universe saw that many people weren't getting it. And guess what? They're in our pathway. What we do with that, let's get communal, people. Yeah, I mean, let's do it. Let's become what we have dreamed of becoming. But for baby formulas, I'm just And you can't trust these supermarkets. You can't say paid forward. Here, I'm going to spend $300 on baby formula. Whoever needs it, looks broke and needs it, give it to them. A cafe in Portland, Oregon. A cafe in Portland, Oregon. Listen to this. Raised $84,000 because they offered free breakfasts until SNAP came back on play. And people donated what they had. He mentioned a person donating $1.17. It's what they could donate. To the tune of $84,000. That's extraordinary. We're already living the community dream. But we need to get real serious. And I'm not sure what you're going to do. If you live in an apartment, know your neighbor. Above you, below you, side of you, the side of you. Know your neighbor. Find out what you can do. I told you in one of my old lives of rent parties in the 1950s, 40s and 50s. What are rent parties? When someone couldn't make the rent, they'd have a potluck of booze and food. They'd have a trash can by the front door, the entrance door, and people would drop coins and dollars and party and help the person make their rent. That was in New York City. That was called a rent party. We've lost the plot. And the 1980s, I lived it firsthand. The 1980s was the architecture of greed, dynasty. What was the other? Dallas, Wall Street. And Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous. These shows were meant to create greed and a dog-eat-dog world. It wasn't like that before. And so some of you born in the 80s, you may not know this, but my generation was called the me generation. Selfish as fuck. Self-absorbed, self-entitled, and worried about only one person, me. Hence the me generation. I lived it, I know. No one was happy. When the 1989 earthquake in San Francisco happened, where literally all Victorian homes literally slid off their foundation, people were walking out going, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Today, I don't even think people would make eye contact. Depends on what state you live in. Let me put it that way, to be fair. But we are being pushed. And though it feels very uncomfortable, right? It's very uncomfortable. It's very unpleasant. What you're witnessing, what you've witnessed for the last 2 years. Let's add 5 years. Where you've been called a conspiracy theorist. It's now time to wear our t-shirts and our tinfoil hats. We were right. And trust me, none of us wanted to be right. What kind of tarot reader would I be if I'm not psychic? What kind of tarot reader would I be? You ask, boy, she should be in the lane. Just throw tarot, girl. I will, and I have. But what kind of fucking psychic am I if I can't see the writing on the wall? For our society. That's why I'm talking about it. People like me should be talking about it. Especially people like me. Meaning psychics, healers, remote viewers. Where are they? Why aren't you talking? And not to panic people. To say, you know what to do. You know what to give. How much you can give. Or ask. I have people in my group that are relying on SNAP benefits. And they're not getting it. And some of you who don't be ashamed. If I get in that situation, I will ask for help. Trust me. I've asked for help for the cremation, the money to cremate my beloved last year. And I got it. Thank God. Because of you. Because I asked. Don't be ashamed. And don't you dare fucking shame people. And don't allow anyone to shame. Well, why don't you get it like the famous bitch with the toast saying, well, what you did with last month's SNAP. Bitch lost her job. Karma doesn't fuck around. Karma does not fuck around in the 21st century. I'll tell you that. Doesn't wait a lifetime anymore. It will fucking hit you on the ass within a week, if not within the hour. Generosity Non-judgment seems to be very Christian in my opinion, but I'm not going to use the word Christian. I'm going to say Christ codes. Yeshua light codes. Mary Magdalene, God, Archangel Michael. Non-judgment, loving. There was a story I told before and I saw a comment on it and I was shocked. Stone soup apparently in this country, I'm going to say that, or through the lens of this person, Stone soup was a couple, this is what the person said, it was a couple that lied about needing food. And they were going to manipulate people because they said the stone was magical. That was a lie. That's not the story. I read the story from one of my grandmother's books from the 1920s, in French, the French version, meaning, translated in French. It's not about a couple lying. It's about a couple who is destitute and they have nothing. And the only thing they do is put a stone in their pot to make it feel like there's something. And people hear about it and start walking in, dropping what they got: parsley, carrots, potatoes, onions, a chicken. And before you know it, there's a stew boiling that smells amazing. And there's a feast. It's community. Stone soup, look it up, is about community. It's Ubuntu. It's loving energy, non-judgment, sharing. And we lost our way. And the lockdown was one way for us to stop. We were stopped. I know of people who lost their loved ones who were never allowed in that hospital to say goodbye. And the person, expired alone in the chaos that was that timeline. Ultimately, they weren't alone, because the light beings came and what was lacking was filled with the light of these wonderful light beings. Ultimately, because ultimately you're never alone, never. But my point is, for those who survived, they had to live with that. And somehow, some way, stores started closing, cafes where we would sit and meet a friend. Hey, you want a cappuccino? Yeah, let's hang out. What book are you reading? Or talk about a romance, or a fight, or something that was of concern. We used to do that with ease. We used to do it all the time. And those places started closing, these little mom and pop shops. And what stayed up was the big fucking machines. You know the ones. One starts with star and ends with buck. We are being pushed. We are being pushed in the path of these tower moments. And these tower moments aren't going to stop. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh yeah, it's going to get better. Oh, it will. It won't get better, but not now. Because the test is how we're going to handle this. Are we going to rise as a people to become a community of helping each other out? You know what I mean? Or not? There's a store called Aldi's, A-L-D-I. It's originally from Germany. They are offering a $40 turkey dinner. It's $40 fucking dollars. Last year it was $45. This year it's $40. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, everything. Every fucking thing. Go look to see if you have one in your neighborhood. But I'm going to put every supermarket under notice. What kind of fucking American are you? Are you a patriot? Because if you were, you would follow that example. See, this is where you're either America first. It's great to talk about it. I love the t-shirts, but it's actually, the proof is in the pudding. $40 for a 20-pound turkey, a bag of 5-pound potatoes, carrots, everything. Everything's cranberry, the pie, it's all there. It's all there. $40. And many of these supermarkets are not going to do it, and they're not doing it. Because you're not fucking patriots. You're not really good. You don't give a fuck about anything but your bottom line. You don't give a fuck. And it shows. But Aldi's, German company, ALDI, look it up, ALDI, Aldi's, is offering that deal for you. Last year, 45, this year's 40. That's insane. Now, you know that's insane. And this is where we see community in chain stores. You either care about your community as a chain, as a supermarket, or you don't. There are old elderly people who can't cook for themselves. I don't know if you've ever been that sick that you couldn't even sit up. But they will not have meals, warm meals. And Meals on Wheels is gone. And the people who try to actually feed the homeless on the streets, one woman was arrested 100 times, 100 fucking times. In France, food that's about to expire, it's against the law to throw it out in France. Oh, go to France then. I know. How smart. Aren't you smart? Oh my God. How about making sure that it's a law here? Why don't you go to France then? I'm not Ben, little Benny, who thinks that everything should go to a certain country. It's not the same as taking best practices and bringing it to our country. Right? So it's a law. Nothing can be thrown out. It must be donated to homeless communities, soup kitchens, and food banks. It must be. That's a law. If you're caught throwing anything, I don't care if you're a bake shop, imagine the breads from France being donated. Some of the best breads on the planet, right? Chocolates, pastries. I remember when my son was 8 years old, my husband had lost his job. I think he was 8. We were taking a walk in the woods because we had no fucking food. I was homeschooling him. I've told you that. When I tell you that we suffered to make sure our son was okay, I'm not kidding. And we were walking in the arroyos in Pasadena, California. I'll never forget. I called my friend saying, we have no fucking food. She goes, fuck, I wish I had money. I don't have any, she didn't. And I said, no, I'm not calling you to tell you. I'm saying I need to vent. I'm fucking hungry. He hasn't eaten. There's no food. And she told me of a church. She said, call that church. Tell him what's going on. And I did. I dropped my son off with my husband. And I went to the church. I came back with a beautiful chicken that we roasted, all kinds. It was a huge box of groceries. I'm not joking. With sushi, shit from Trader Joe's, Whole Foods. It was insane. I'm not ashamed to say I've been there. Been there, done that. You should have seen my son's face light up. Light the fuck up. That was a Christmas in July. Why do you think I believe that food is a human right? And why, for me, watching children starve in Gaza was absolutely heartbreaking. Breaking. When they lie and point fingers at each other. Your fault. We're trying to get the food in. No, it's your fault. It's the age group. They're taking that. I mean, it's just insane. It's insane. They've been doing that with parts of Africa. We are people who love peace, you and I, or else you wouldn't be here. You'd be looking at war games, playing a war game video, or fucking watching some more shit with Pete Hetzik or some idiot. Instead, you're here. You love peace like I do. And because you love peace like I do, you and I have to kind of work together remotely, because some of you will never meet. And we have to fucking manifest the new earth so that we are a shield away from these 3D fucking violent criminals who refuse to let be. UAE paying for these weird, conniving, disgusting human beings walking into the Sudan and harming. I can't even use some of the terms here on this live. And I refuse to use bastardized terms like grape and unalivened. I refuse. Let us be. How many fucking trillions do you need? Leave us the fuck alone. We want to grow our children, our crops, and our lives. We want to read books. We want to meditate and love each other. That's it. But no, you want more and more land. You want more minerals and more gold. You are a fucking disgrace. And there's nothing that will ever make me capitulate. And that's why we need community. And I believe that there were communities, and I told you this way back when I was doing my Akashic Records, which I still do. I'm doing one actually tomorrow. And I told you that we didn't all fall into 3D. There were pockets of society, civilizations that never fell into 3D. It took a long time. Case in point, Tibet. Parts of Afghanistan, India, Europe, the Celts, the Druid and Druidesses, Gaul, parts of America with the Native Americans, the Aztecs, I would say another tribe that did not sacrifice humans, I'm just going to say it like that, in the South Americas, Brazil, other islands that still sung the songs of Atlantis. There were pockets of 5D and they could not be seen or found because the energy was so high. It was not a match to the optical vision of 3D humans. And it sounds woohoo. I truly believe that we can do it again. I truly believe we can form our communities and disappear. And this is why the Celestine Prophecy by James Rayfield, if you have not read it, in the 1980s, when the book came out, fucking Cindy Crawford was shown at I think it's a famous shot where she's literally reading the book, getting her hair done for a show. Everybody damn near on the planet was reading the Celestine Prophecy by James Ray. Everybody. And when you read it today, through what you know, trust me, you feel it's a primer. It's like, it's so basic. But it talks about how these people disappeared. It's very similar to the story I heard of the Harappan, the Indus Valley, Harappan Valley, where the Harappans disappeared. They were there, and now they're not. And for all we know, they're still there, but in 5D. There's a particular tribe in in ancient Greek lore that lived there. We have historical artifacts that they lived right next to a warring tribe. And my friend is fascinated by that because it was a matriarchal community. And she went, how the fuck could they live next to this warring tribe that conquered everyone else but never them? Were they unseen? Were they behind the veils of 5D? And when everything collapsed, we had the artifacts of their existence? But during the time of them living as a matriarchal society, for example, that this warring tribe next to them, never could see them? And it's making me ask a lot of woohoo questions, you're damn right, about the nature of reality. And I have to go back into my book, Psyche and Singularity, about the nature of the cosmic horizon, string theory, realities. I gotta break it down because my brain needs to be hacked out of this limited 3D fucking perspective. It's not working for me. Like, I don't want it anymore. I want 5D consciousness. And I know that either I go to such a level, now I'm bringing this up again and again, the story of Regina Meredith being in a room where there were all these chairs in a circle and they were all meditating in the circle, and she opened her eyes and 2 people had disappeared. She's not exactly crazy, this woman, okay? And she wasn't supposed to open her eyes. Then she closed them. When she opened them again, they were back in the chairs. They disappeared. She's only said it once in a show where she talked about reality and dimensions. Their consciousness made them disappear. The first time I ever heard of that concept was in the book by Richard Matheson called Somewhere in Time. The movie doesn't do it justice, but essentially that's what he does. He convinces himself to come into a different timeline. You could call it, this is why many of us are so into time travel, but it isn't time travel. It isn't time travel. It's dimensional separation. I believe there are two different factions. Time travel, that's a whole different thing. And then dimensional frequency that separates you from a different other reality, a lower, denser reality, 3D. So 3D is here, which is what we're living. And we're seeing the fuckery of that. It's always been. And then you've got 5D or above, obviously, on the same planet. You haven't left the planet, but you're in 5D now. Time travel is you're on this planet, for example, to limit it to just this planet. And you go back into time or forward into time. But do you understand, most of us who have been like researchers of concepts of reality have been reading books like that since we were kids. To understand, how do I fucking hack my brain out of this shit so that I am not fucking plugged in? Now, The Matrix, as they all said, was a documentary, right? And it took a while before they did the last fucking movie. What did they do? They plugged Neo back in. They plug him in. What was the message for us? You'll never win. We'll always win. And that's a lie. That's propaganda. The last one is a propaganda film. It's a lie. It's interesting because this concept of he died for our sin, he died for our sin. What if he didn't? What if he left? What if he literally had high priestesses, his mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and other feminines, high priestess of the Temple of Isis, were able to fucking alchemize his wounds and get him his ass out of there, into Egypt, crossing the border, through the Mediterranean Sea to France. And they had children. I'm mixing concepts so you understand. We need to start putting the breadcrumbs together into a full picture. There will be people you reach out for. And again, Harriet Tubman said it best. I could have saved 1,000 people, but they didn't want to come. They were in it. They were so afraid of leaving. They were so afraid of the unknown. And I didn't have time, but I could have saved another 1,000. I keep saying the same shit, different ways. Have you noticed? Same shit, different days. Because it's about hacking out. It's about repetition, hacking out, reading the right books. John, and I mentioned it before in Aramaic, John, one of the Bibles, I don't have it in front of me. I'm not getting up to look. I'm just going to the truth shall set you free. Well, that's not the same as saying, and the translation in Aramaic is this: open your heart, release what no longer serves you, and the truth shall reveal itself. Something like that. Not the same meaning at fucking all. We have been given pieces, fragments of the truth of our reality. And the Industrial Revolution really fucking closed the door on our ability to see the expansiveness of dimensions and possibilities of realities. It was trauma. Massive trauma. If you've ever studied the Industrial Revolution and what it did to children, if you've ever read books on that, even children's books, I don't even know, there's a reason why they don't have children's books on that anymore, because when I was a kid, the books I was reading about that were written in the 1800s. And somehow my grandmother had read them, and I ended up reading them. And when you realize how people lived, or did not live, could not live, One of the stories I remember was 2-volume set called Sans Famille, Without Family. And it was about a little girl who was about 12, 13 years old who worked at a industrial textile system. She was homeless. She lived by a riverbank. And I remember one story where she found quail eggs, and she was so excited. But she was working in that factory. That was her story. 2-volume set. And frankly, that's all I remember. I read it when I was probably 10. And I don't have the books anymore, sadly. But when you have your children read shit like that, they become massively empathic. They realize the injustices that people long dead lived as children. And community says no more. 5D framework says, absolutely, we do not fucking consent. We're done here. You want to have your wars? We won't be here. We will vibrationally fucking walk the fuck out of this dimension. And we will do it by hacking out of the viruses you've put into our brains, generation after generation after generation, incarnation after incarnation after incarnation. I think that's it. In fact, I know that's it, because revolutions don't work. I know this because if you've ever studied, you'll know it doesn't work. The French Revolution was started by women who saw their children starving. Did you know that? I always bring it up. And then the men took over and it became a shit show. And then we had an emperor. Remember him? Napoleon? He was an emperor and crowned his empress. That's why there were crown jewels to be stolen in the Louvre. It wasn't from Marie Antoinette or Louis XVI. It was from the emperors. Different day, new bullshit. Well, same bullshit, different face. Do you understand? It doesn't work. So that means that we have to be the architects of reality. It starts out with community. And that's it. It's loving. It's honest. It is generous. It's patient. And it knows who to cut. You're not here to save, like Harriet Tubman says, I could have saved 1,000. They didn't want to be saved. You're not here to save anybody. You're here to be there. We're here to find our tribes. And we're here to say, hey, you're late, but good to see you. You're not here to convert. We're not here to convert anyone. This is not evangelism at all, at all. It's people who have waken up, rubbing the sleep from their eyes as starseeds going, this is wrong. There are fucking 3-year-olds that know this is wrong, by the way. They know the whole system's wrong. Why? Well, because they're in 3-year-old bodies, but they're ancient souls. They know it's wrong. So, okay, that was a mistake. Sorry. Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, but I don't do, thank you. And you've got your music on. Oh my God. I'm sorry. All right,
Okay,
that's
bye
my
bye.
son. Can you take yourself off? I'm trying to get you off the thing. This is so weird. Thank you. Sorry, that was a real mistake. Deep statement about Mrs. Tubman. Harriet would pew those that wanted to return from fear. Oh, I believe it. I believe it because the one person that would, let me put it this way, okay? I didn't mean to be rude to that nice lady. She looked nice, but I don't do live, especially when you're not serious and you've got your music on. But no, the fact that she would, like, again, using the word pew, you believe this shit. What the fuck are we? The fact that she would do that, think about it. She's got like 400 people who are following her out of the fucking prisons of insanity. And one asshole now wants to run back. She could not. Okay, this is when the Ubuntu of if you are, I mean, one matters more than the whole group. In other words, if one is suffering, the whole group is suffering. That one person, in this particular case of survival and stealthness, I probably couldn't have done it. I don't think I could have taken someone's life for going back. I probably would have knocked them out, to be honest, knocked the fuck out, tied them up and said, good luck, man. You either come with us or, it's a very bad situation. But Harriet Tubman would have seen so much brutality, blood, that she probably, growing up with it as a little kid, she would have developed a coldness. I bet you she could compartmentalize what she needed when she needed to survive. I'm not joking. Where she was like, yeah, I'm saving 100 people, 60 people, whatever. Your ass is, you're gone. You're fucking not doing this. You're not going to fuck us up like this. So I could see her doing that. And I could see how she could do it. Personally, me, I probably couldn't do it because of the way I was raised. I wasn't raised like she was raised. Does that make sense? I wouldn't have developed that kind of hardness and coldness that could just, boom, come over me like that. That's why we women, especially we women, we have to literally, we have to harm somebody who's going to harm us. Like, say there's an attacker, a predator. We have to practice this. And I was telling this to my friend. I said, you have to be ready to practice this, kicking him in the kneecap, for example. I mean, you got to really, and go all out so that he's hyperextended the leg, and then keep at it until he cannot fucking run after you. It's over. And that's something you don't just fucking instinctively do, because women typically are terrified of hurting people. Do you understand? Whereas, and especially now, whereas we have a lot of men who are young men who are watching these weird fucking videos that are very violent. So they're all hopped up on harming someone. But we women, for the most part, we have to practice that. If this happens, what do I do? Right? If that happens, what do I do? And you got to practice it in your mind so that you're like, oh, motherfucker, I've got you. There was a woman that was on TikTok that actually was, I think she was like 5'6" or 5'7", probably 130 pounds. And some predator came into her house. I kid you not. And she beat the shit out of him, hand-to-hand combat. I'm not kidding. But she fought to the death. He wasn't going to get, in other words, somehow, and I wish she had mentioned it, but she never did mention it. She must have practiced it in her mind that if anything happened, she was going to go all out. And women don't do that enough. And so I was telling my girlfriend, because she was walking home from work. She was on the phone, acting like she was on the phone. And some man was like, oh, hey, beautiful, and he grabbed her hand that she had the phone with. And thank God a woman stepped in to help her. But my point is, that's kneecap time. Like hard, like fucking hard. And I said, what are you wearing on your shoes when you're commuting? And she said, high heels. I went, no, fuck that cute shit. You wear sneakers for two reasons. One is to kick, and two, to run. So high heels are out, okay? You take your fucking high heels off like we used to do in the 80s and 90s, and you wear your fucking sneakers. I'm not joking on this shit. So going back to Harriet Tubman on that question of she would take out someone who'd want to return out of fear when she's got like 600, 100 people or 40 people's souls in her hands who want to leave. They've got to leave. Because they found out that their 5-year-old son's going to get sold, that weekend or whatever. Do you understand? And they got to go. Like, she's not going to let a person, like fuck it all up for everyone at all. And I understand that completely, though I have to admit, the way I've been wired in this incarnation, I don't think I could I'd probably, like I said, knock them out and tie them up and say, good luck. Hopefully someone will find you. If not, oh well, I probably could do that. That I could do, but to take their life, it's a no for me for now. You know what I mean? I'm just not wired that way. I'm being honest. I'm not a KILLER. This is not the way I've been raised. But as you know, you've been watching a lot of videos from the Sudan, right? Have you? Seeing what they're doing to the people? And the UAE is promoting that. It's like, I don't have any words anymore. You and I will never understand why these motherfuckers think it's okay to bother people. And again, let me remind you that you and I have lived in incarnations on the Great Plains of this country, in the forests of the wilderness of this country as Native Americans in fucking peace. We never had any problems. Okay. We never had any problems ever. And we were so good. We lived and died on this land. We hunted buffalo with integrity, and bear and wolf and hawk. And we lived in peace. And when people, colonials said that the tribes were fighting each other, I'm like, bullshit. History written by the conquerors. You think I'm going to trust you? Fuck off. I know these people are living in peace. Why? What are they going to fight for? A war? For what? For land? Land that none of them wanted to own? I mean, come on. It's like stupid. It's like war for their women? No, that would be the Romans who did that. That's how the Sabine, it's called the RAPE of the Sabine. Look it up. There's sculptures on that and paintings on that. That's how Rome was founded, but no, the Native Americans lived in peace. The Druids and Druidesses lived in peace. They lived in peace. The only reason you conquer anything is for land, and you want their shit. Their shit's now my shit. But we had civilizations, and that's what I call a real civilization, because it doesn't want more than it has, lived in peace. And that's ultimately, we've done it before. We have the template. We do, in the etheric field, the templates of these incarnations we once lived right here on this planet. After Atlantis fell, where we lived without war, or famine, or greed, or betrayal. Do you understand? Even wolves and lion packs will throw out, and even stallions will throw out, even deers will throw out anyone any sentient being that doesn't act right is thrown out from its tribe. Get the fuck out. When you learn how to act, you can come back or find another tribe. And if you fuck with them, they'll throw you out as well. Even the animals have sense. Okay? You either act right or get the fuck out. So this is known. So for us to create what we need to create is all about getting our heads together. That's it. And I mean it. They woke up every day and asked, what fun can we have today? Spot on. Thank you, Tim. Yeah. I mean, swimming, hunting, gathering, creating their beautiful headdresses, their beautiful carvings, their beautiful, just think. Okay, just walk in the woods anywhere in this country and call in the Native American energy, and you will see them. It will be a side-eye thing where you see them, like you'll go, wow, I feel, or you'll see them. I'm not joking. You'll see a holographic reflection of who they were. Call on them. You'll feel their presence. Because if you're here, okay, not only you're one of the Hopi prophecy children coming in, but also you were most likely connected to one of those incarnations as a Native Americans. I don't care if you're in China right now, or in Japan, or in India, or Norway. You were here once. Or else this whole discussion would not resonate with you at all. There's certain tribes and certain lineages and certain bloodlines we took on, and we remember what it was like. And that's part of the reason why many of you go through massive depression, is because this suit doesn't fit you. In fact, you don't even want to wear a suit. You want to wear air, light, wind, feathers, tannings, and not the abuse of what happened with the bison, the buffalo across the plains of the country. I don't know, just think of the kind of people that did this. So they're on a train And they decided it's a good idea to just start shooting at bison just for the fuck of it. Just, yeah, whatever. Just a good idea. Just take a whole herd out. And what we're doing with horses is incredibly evil. What we're doing to wolves and bears is incredibly evil. I'll give you an example. On my land, okay, they were using poison for rats, okay? They must have been. Because for the first year, there were no hawks. Swear to God, none. There were no bears. There was maybe a couple. In 1 year and some months, we have bears. My son came across a baby bear right there last night. Right on our front lawn. I'm not joking, okay? And we see bobcats and foxes and hawks and bald eagles now. Because we don't use any of that shit on the land. The land is left the fuck alone. And it all balances itself out in a very fragile ecosystem that just needs respect. Meanwhile, people are fucking using Monsanto. Oh, God forbid I should have dandelions. Dandelions. You should be fucking on your hands and knees if you get dandelions in your lawn. It means you have a healthy land. These philosophies don't belong in 3D. They are 5D philosophies. These are all 5D philosophies. Not being afraid of nature, but allowing it and respecting nature. And having enough, abundance. Oh, I don't have that. I didn't get a good crop of zucchinis this year. Well, I got a shitload of tomatoes. Well, I'll trade you some potatoes for zucchinis and eggplants. What do you think they were doing before? And I think many of us are hungry for that. Simple homes, beautiful, warm homes. Why do you think most of us love The Hobbit, for Christ's sake? It's like, it's a feeling of that. How we honestly, Lord of the Rings, the wars, I could give two fucks about the wars. But Hobbit, that whole little world within the world, yeah, I'm for that. Let me watch that. Let me calm my fucking nervous system down so I can watch that, because that reminds me of something. Just giving you examples. Ancient ancestors have returned for future is amazing. Kia Shwiya, Watahaye, 2 dogs last of the... Oh, we missed this. Something came out. That sounds good. I'd love you to... Thank you, Tim. So ancient ancestors have returned. Our future is amazing. Kia Shawi, Watahe, 2 dogs last of. I wish you'd finish telling me what the rest is. But I'm really happy. I'm really, really happy that you're here, Tim. I'm here. I'm happy you're here. Red Mama Yeti. Gabriel. Yeah, it's intense about Mrs. Tubman. I have great respect for her. Okay, great respect. And if you've never read Uncle Tom's Cabin, yeah, that's right. I said it. Read it. Read it with your kids. Because that book, when I read it when I was about 8.5, 9, changed my life. Changed my life. And there's a reason why they've bastardized that book. Trust me. Because if every kid in America was reading that as opposed to Kill a Mockingbird, To Kill a Mockingbird is after the fact. It's Jim Crow. Read fucking Uncle Tom's Cabin. Stop the Uncle Tom shit. Come up with another term. Because that book will fucking make you weep. It's even mentioned in The King and I. You know the play, the musical, The King and I with Yul Brynner? It's mentioned in The King and I. It's Uncle Tom's Cabin. They do a play. It's Indonesian version, but it's about Uncle Tom. And about a woman who is running for freedom with her child and crossing a river. And as I say to many people who are African American, who have been told not to read that book, and white people who have told not to be in America, okay? Chapter 1, 2 men in, I always tell you that story. 2 fucking men sitting there waiting. And the mother of a 5-year-old boy is going up the staircase because of the white plantation owner's house. Because they're about to buy her son. He's 5. That book changed the way people saw slavery. And the fact that we call people Uncle Toms, not understand the psychology of what it takes to fucking be a slave or not be alive. and how some people who were Muslim, who were black Muslims, if you want, who were scholars, okay, who were chained, who could write their names, who knew how to pray to Allah, okay, who were enslaved. Imagine that mindfuck. A lot of them didn't survive. They would have preferred the end of this journey rather than continue. So it's a little, we need to remember this. But when you read Uncle Tom's Cabin, which I'm so fucking pissed at the system that actually bastardized that book. You're an Uncle Tom. Really? Fucking read the book. Read the fucking book. Come up with another way to put down a person that licks the boots of its oppressor. And then understand the psychology of slavery. The one drop law, which was an economic law. There, I was looking at a picture of a blonde hair, blue-eyed, we're assuming it's blue-eyed, but definitely blonde, a picture to be sold. Why is this shocking? Well, it's not shocking because we had also indentured servitude. Indentured, 7 years, indentured. With the African slaves, with the one drop law, it was a lifelong, and let's not forget Thomas Jefferson, his own sons and daughters were still enslaved. I don't care if he owned them. He owned his own children. Do you understand? He owned them. And would lend one of his sons out to another farm because the son looked too much like him. So he lent him out for free labor. So start with Uncle Tom's Cabin. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm like kicking the fucking hornet's nest. Buffalo, aka Sitting Bully reincarnated. There's so many great chiefs, though, that are also coming back. Ancient, yeah. So you know what I'm saying, Tim? There's so many great. In fact, there's some. I'm gonna be blunt, okay? I'm gloves off, like I told you. I see a lot of white people that are really advocating for human rights for people of color, and I know they're reincarnation of slaves, Native Americans, Hispanic communities, leaders from various parts of the world. I know that they've come back and they've chosen that race because they knew that that would give them the microphone. It's so unpolitically correct what I'm saying, and I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It's obvious. It's obvious. And that doesn't make it less powerful or less important. It makes it so important. This generation that was born in the 1990s up until now are some of the most powerful souls we've ever seen on the planet at one fucking time, ever. People like me, my father, and my beloved. My father was born in 1923, my beloved in 1947. I was born in 1962. We were fucking out there without a paddle. We were rebels without a paddle. Do you understand? We were the lone wolves. People didn't understand. They were all cohorts into cattle mentality, the cattle of humanity. And now the wolves and lions have been incarnating at a massive scale. Look at what people are saying. Look at what people are creating. Look at what people are advocating for. No one's drinking the Kool-Aid in that generation. Not every boomer's an asshole, but I'll admit most of them are. I hate to say it. But you guys are an amazing generation of powerhouses that are coming through to change and to right the wrongs. And many of you are the opposite of the race that was oppressed that you once lived. And you know firsthand from fucking some scars, impressions, memories of what it was like to be oppressed. Many of you are men and you were women and you were oppressed and vice versa. It's incredible. If you see it from that lens, you realize how we win. I keep going into my meditations. We win. Every time we win, we win. There's no question we win. And at this point, because at this point, they know they're losing, but here's the thing. They want to stretch it out before, at least they want to live their experience. You know who I'm talking about, until they drop their body. So they want to stretch it out because they do not want to suffer their loss. You know what I mean? You don't fight the machine. You don't engage. If they throw you a ball, you don't grab it. You don't catch it in midair. You let it drop to the ground. That's the theme of today's live. You don't engage. You walk away. But you protect your peace. You create your peace. You co-architect with all of us. And eventually, they can't see us or touch us. And I know that sounds totally out of your context. You're like, your mind's like spinning. And then I ask you to study scholarly books on reality. Again, the book is called Psyche and Singularity by Timothy Desmond. Psyche and Singularity by Timothy Desmond, Desmond. It's a scholarly book, digested slowly. Another book that's very easy for you to read called Mind Power into the 21st Century by John Kehoe, Kehoe, about the holographic universe, nature of reality. And he's going to tell you shit that you may never have heard of, but it's a very, what I call pedestrian book on changing your mindset. Does that make sense? It's 148 pages, thereabouts. I might be wrong by 1 or 2 pages. But you need to understand the nature of reality, or else you're fucked, period. And they understand the nature of reality in terms of the peripheries of it. And why do you think they have CERN going on? What do you think? It's just a joke? You think it's a game? You're going to spend millions upon, probably billions, on CERN to just open portals? Are you okay? Do you think it's just for, we got nothing better to do? No, it's about fucking holding captive reality. Don't you get it? That's ultimately what it's about. It's not a conspiracy. It's common sense. If you're the winner in a reality, wouldn't you want to fucking keep it? I mean, if you're a video game player, you must understand the logic of it. I want to win this game. Okay. I got the most points. Okay. In the world. Oh, wow. Isn't that what you video gamers know? Don't you live that reality? Don't you understand that? What do you think they're doing? And so we don't play the game. It's already stacked. We don't play that game. We create our own architecture of reality. And they can't play because they're not invited, and they don't know the code. See, that's what we're getting at. If that makes sense. So anyway, I'm going to let you go. Thank you all for being here. I hope this helped. We will talk again soon, and sending you much love on your journey. Namaste. Be well.